Good evening, everyone. Switch on again. Let's start off. Hope everyone tried this problem. (11L by 12). Okay. See, how do we do this? The first thing, remember the stability thing we talked about. The main idea is whatever is there on the top, that center of mass should pass through the base in contact with the below surface, isn't it? That was the whole idea. So let's start from the top. So if I just take only one plank, let's call this guy center of mass plank is C1. That means you need to have a solid surface just below this. So we need to keep the second plank just below this. Make sense? This is the limiting case. You just kept it on that edge there and this is safe. That means this will give you L by 2. Now, if that is C1, this is C2 for the center of the second plank. Now for C1 and C2, the center of mass will be here, which is C1, 2. Okay. Now your job is what? To make sure the third plate should pass. Now this center of mass, the total weight of these two guys, that should pass through this base here. So whatever is there on the top, that center of mass should pass through the base of that niche one. Make sense? And now if you see here, again, we are only interested in the horizontal distance here. If you look at here, C1 and C2, the distance between them is how much? L by 2. So the center of mass will be here, C1, 2, which is L by 4. And L by 4, because both are equal, M and M. So this distance would be L by 4. Now after this, you might get a feeling it will be a GP. It is not a GP. You have to be careful here. Now, if you take the third guy, this will be C3. And if you look at this distance here from this guy to this guy, you said this is L by 4. That means this is also L by 4 and this is also L by 4. That means the distance between C2 and C3 is actually L by 4. Now you want a center of mass between C3 and C12, isn't it? Now you want the center of mass of all these three. So center of mass of C12, but remember C12 pe mass is 2m now, and C3 pe mass is m, and the distance between them is L by 2. So the center of mass will divide in the ratio of opposite masses. So this guy will be L by 6. And this guy will be 2L by 3. That means the center of mass of these guys will be somewhere here, C1, 2, 3. That means this guy should be below this. And this distance would be L by 6. So it won't be an infinite GP. Next one will be in the ratio of 3m is to m. You can keep on doing this. I didn't give you more plates, but if I keep doing this, you end up with next will be L by 8, next will be L by 10, and so on. You get a harmonic progression. It won't be a GP. It's not L by 2, 2 square, 2 cube, 2 power 4. It is not GP. Because the mass is increasing just what? Next one will be what? Next one will be 3m and m ka ratio, isn't it? Next will be 4m and m ratio, 5m and m, and so on. So at 40 form is a harmonic progression. So this kind of sequence is called a harmonic progression.
So this thing can go on until one
Infinity.
exactly over the other block, right?
That will never happen. A harmonic progression, when you add them, it will go to infinity. It is not a finite value. You can go to infinity. Means if you have infinite planks, you can create infinite distance.
Okay.
Sum of harmonic progression is not finite. So the answer for 4 planks, L by 2, L by 4, L by 6, L by 8. So whatever is that. How much is that? 3L by 4, L by 8, L by 6, 6, 7, L by 8, L by 6. So 2 to 6, L 6, 7, 42 plus 8, 50 L by 48, 25 L by 24. That's your answer. Check. It's not a GP, so be careful with that. Because your mass is just increasing like what? 1:1, 1:2, 1:3, 1:4. That can be a GP. The mass had blown off like infinity. 1:1, or 1:2, 1:4, 1:8, 1:16. Then it would have been a different game. So remember the result. Quite useful. I showed only for 2 parts, but I hope you understood what was happening there. The next one will be center of mass of C1, 2, 3, 4. Below that you have to keep. Next will be C1, 2, 3, 5. So whatever is there on the top, uska center of mass should, the mg vector should pass to the base of the bottom one. Clear? Any doubts on this? Great. Next one. This is also a good one. We have a plank of mass m here. This is another model. We have 2 people here, M and M. This is ground is smooth. So let's name them as A and B. So here, A jumps with speed u relative to the platform. This word is important. We'll talk about this. To the right. Then B jumps. Same thing with u related to the platform. To the left. Find the speed of the platform after both have jumped. Now, what is the meaning of relative velocity to the platform? Now listen to the word. This is what generally anyone thinks. What did I say? You are jumping with speed u relative to the platform. Agreed? What is the platform ka speed initially? 0. So what will you think? Man is jumping with you. This is what everyone thinks. Now the problem here is when the man is about to jump, who is making him jump? The friction. So when the man is jumping, if you look at the forces acting on him, there is a friction acting on the man. The same friction is also pushing the plank back. So the moment you start the action of jumping, that means you're pushing the plank backward, and that's why you're gaining velocity, right? So when the man is about to jump, the platform is already in motion. You're getting it? So it is not like, he will jump and then the platform will move. You're getting the catch? For example, see, if I have a marker in my hand, if I'm in outer space and if I'm throwing this, it is not like I'll throw the marker and then I'll go back. The moment I start this motion, my hand going front, I'm already going back. So you're getting it. It is not like the object has to leave you and then you will start moving. So when the man moves forward by pushing the plank backward. So when he is gaining speed, when the plank is gaining speed, man moves forward by pushing the plank backward. So when he is about to jump, even the plank has velocity. That means this guy, when he is about to jump, the plank itself is going with V. Now look at the statement. He is jumping with U relative to the platform. So when he's in the air, when he's jumping, what is the speed of the platform? V backward. And he's jumping with U forward. That means he actually jumped with what speed? U minus V. Is that point clear? The meaning of that statement, U relative to the platform, is the speed of the man when he is jumping outside. But by that time, plank is not at rest, it is already in motion. So if you think the plank is at rest and solve the problem, you will get a wrong answer. Is that point clear? That is the meaning of the word relative to the platform. So this is something additional you should know. So when the man jumps, he jumps with actually U minus V in the ground frame. That you should know. So whenever you hear, so if I want to say with zero, you know what I should say? Listen to the word. The man jumps with speed U, right? With respect to the platform before he jumps. That is a word. Before he jumps, what is the velocity of the platform? Zero. So with respect to that, what is jumping with you? So what is the velocity? U. Are you getting that word? But if I use the word relative to the platform, so because you are moving, you already moved the platform, so you're jumping with respect to that. So your speed is not U, your speed is U minus V. Fair enough. So basically, you can say like that U is the relative velocity of the person with respect to the motion of that platform, after he jumps. Now solve. So first A jumps to the right, platform and B will go to the left, and then B jumps to the left, and then platform will move again. To find the final velocity of the platform after A and B have jumped. I hope the question was clear, and I hope the meaning of that relative velocity to the platform का meaning. Anyone is confused, please ask me. This is the reason you should solve, problems, different problems. No matter how much you sit and read the notes, you will not learn this kind of stuff. Hope everyone has given the test. If you are not given, there is deadline till 11 o'clock, so make sure to give. Should I show you one? I'll show you one. See. First thing, let A jumps. So A is here, B is here, small m, capital M, everything is at rest. So initial momentum is 0. So after he jumps, B and the plank are together. Let this whole thing go back with V, and this guy is going with U minus V. So final momentum will be M into U minus V plus minus M plus M into V. Since there is no horizontal forces, initial is equal to final. So 0 is equal to Mu minus Mv minus M plus Mv. So we get V is equal to Mu by capital M plus 2 small m. This is the velocity of the plank after A jumps. This is the first part. Now, the plank and the M both are going with this velocity V. Now B decides to jump. Now B jumps. What will happen? Let the plank go backward with V dash. So B is jumping with U minus V dash. Are you getting it? Again, relative velocity. Your relative velocity should be always with respect to the new velocity of the plank, not the old velocity. Now solve. So when the B jumps, velocity becomes V dash. So you're jumping with respect to V dash. You can say, sir, how do you know V dash is that way? I don't know. I just assumed it. Sign will take care of it. You want, you can assume to the left also. Then it will be U plus V dash. So don't worry about that sign.
Again?
Find the cost of the plank. Find the speed of the plank. रे तू ना पूरा story सुन के asking what's the question.
So मतलब you could have asked anything.
Find the final speed of the plank. You are trying to seriously find the cost of the plank. That would be interesting. Chalo, try. Let's see. So after he jumps, again, same story. What is initial momentum? I'll take the left as positive. M plus M into V. This would be M into U minus V dash minus M into V dash. You get V dash is equal to MU minus M plus M by V by M plus M. MU by M plus M minus V, but V itself is MU by M plus 2M. There, simplify that, you'll get the answer. That is the final velocity. And this will be, am I right, or did I goof up somewhere? M plus MV. Looks right. Yep. How much is this? Take out MU common. M plus 2M minus M by M plus M by M plus 2M. Capital will cancel. We get M square U by M plus M by M plus 2M. That's your final velocity of the plank to the right. Check. Clear? You just have to keep solving it, meaning first consideration, second consideration, so on. If there are three people, you do it again third time. Generally, you know what people think? Sir, if both are jumping with the same speed, why will the plank move? It should stop. That was true if both were jumping with respect to ground. If both were jumping with same speed with respect to ground, they would have cancelled out. But if you actually observe, this guy is jumping with u minus v, this guy is jumping with u minus v dash. They're not jumping with the same speeds in the ground frame. Clear? Any doubts on this?
So
Arjun.
if there was friction on the ground also, then would we consider that as an external force or internal force?
We can say find the velocities just after jumping. So meaning for that small moment we ignore friction.
Acha.
We have to do that. Neto, that's an external force, and you can't come the momentum.
Okay. Got it.
Then the question is gone.
Mhm.
Clear?
Yes.
Next thing. So we have a platform
Can
here.
you go back for a moment?
If they both jump at the same time, the plank will not move. Because then both will jump with u minus v, na? Both jump simultaneously, plank won't move.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Next one. So we have a plank here, we have a cannon here. We have a cannonball of mass m. So this is fired here, angle theta. Again, this whole setup is placed on a smooth ground. A cannonball is fired with speed u. With respect to the cannon. Same thing, cannon and the platform both are connected, so platform cannon dono same in this case. Okay, with respect to cannon at angle theta. Find the range of the cannonball. If I don't mention anything in the ground frame. Where will the cannonball land on the ground from the initial point? Is the cannonball coming out with speed u? That is a catch. If it was coming with u, it would have been easy. Did I show you that video recoil velocity? So this is also called as, because when the cannonball is fired, the plank goes back. It's called recoil velocity. So when you fire a gun, the gun actually comes back and hits you back. So if you don't catch the gun properly, right, you will dislocate your shoulder. The plank goes back, right? This is called with some velocity. This is called recoil velocity. This happens anytime. Anything that you fire has actually recoil. This is called recoil speed. That means in movie, if the hero goes and actually punches someone, there's also a recoil. Movies mein nahi hota. You just go and keep beating everyone. In boxing matches, just think about it. It is so weird, huh? You think you can just go and punch someone without getting hurt. The problem, if you punch him on, let's say, on his face, you're hitting one of the hardest parts on the body, isn't it? Teeth, bone. Chalo, he will get injured, but doesn't your hand also start getting hurt in return? You will shatter your fist. Most people don't realize that. You think I'll just go and start punching that guy and nothing will happen. This is the problem, see. Then you think, no, sir, then I'll hit him in the soft spot. Let's say I'll hit him in the tummy, shoulder, then he'll not get hurt enough because it's a Newton's third law. If you're generating F, you're also getting F. If he has to get hurt, you have to get hurt. The only way is if your body is more resilient or more stronger, then the force is same. So that guy will get hurt more. But if you're hitting your fist on his eyes or neck or something, no, that's a different game. So where do you hit is a different thing. The difference between street fighting and martial arts is that in martial arts you learn where to hit. Street fighting, you just start punching right and left, doesn't matter. So it's a science. This recoil can be pretty bad. Meaning there is, I heard this thing, Mike Tyson, when he punches, right? This thing, no, you can't give in terms of time. Answer comes in terms of U, theta, M, and M. So when he punches, right, he generates a force of almost, equal to a 600 to 700 kgs of, force. That means when he punches, he generates half a ton force. So most people think, yaar, matlab, if he beats, so you will die. Great. If he beats, so you will die. But in return, he will dislocate his shoulder. Getting it? So these people, right, it's not only about punching. They train a shoulder a lot. They train their, legs a lot to absorb all that energy. And if you see the whole match, right, even though he can punch so hard, he won't punch more than once or twice in the entire match. More than that, he will lose his shoulder. For some reason in our movies, the hero just keeps going punching 50, 60 people. Nothing happens to him. They take the gun and start shooting with single hand. You know what happens? Let me
Is
show
there
you
a
what
reason why
happens.
those policemen use two hands to shoot with the gun?
Yeah, this is what happens. See, you catch with one hand. You saw? That thing would have broken a shoulder actually. You break your shoulder actually. It hits very bad. ये नहीं ना that this girl fell down only. ये highlight है. These are idiots. This is an idiot. This is another idiot. This is what our movies do, na? The hero goes and takes a gun. See what happens if you actually take a gun and shoot like this. That is what happens. That is what happens. If you actually take a gun and shoot, right, the gun will fly on your face. And for some reason, right, our hero takes 2-3 guns and starts shooting everywhere, right and left. So, होता है. There. So that is a recoil velocity when I say. When you hit something, you actually go back. So, let's see. Where do you get such type of videos? Being a physics teacher, that's what happens. Whatever you see, you try to see physics in that. So, you go to a movie, you see the movie. I keep thinking, oh, is this possible? And then that is a problem. So it is not fun watching movies with me. Let's see. The story is the same. So when you fire, the plan goes back with V. So this cannonball which comes out, now see, it has a vertical component, U sine theta. What happens to the horizontal component? Vertical will not change. Horizontal will be U sine theta, U cos theta minus V. Getting the catch? That is the difference. What changes is the horizontal component, not the vertical component. So if you conserve horizontal momentum, initial momentum is equal to final momentum. Initial 0, this is m into u cos theta minus v minus m into v. So v is equal to mu cos theta by m plus n. So this cannonball actually flies in a projectile like this, where this is your horizontal velocity and this is your vertical velocity. And something interesting happens. The angle also changes now. So the person on the ground will think it is actually going with not theta, but some other angle, which is u sine theta by u cos theta minus v. This is also a question they can ask you. With what velocity it is actually fired in the ground frame. It is actually fired with alpha, not theta. And what about the range? Time of flight will be, time of flight depends only on the vertical component, 2u vertical by g, which is 2u sine theta by g. So time of flight does not get affected because of this. What is range ka formula? Horizontal component into time of flight. use this thing. Don't use that u square sine 2 theta thing. That is a mess. This is a more standard one. Ux into time of flight. So ux will be u cos theta minus v into time of flight is 2u sine theta by g. I will leave the solving to you. I think, yeah, some of you got it. Check it out. So the main catch in this and the previous problem is only the horizontal velocity changes. The vertical component is unaffected by this firing. Check this out. Clear? Next thing. So these are one type of questions, on recoil and whenever you fire something, the velocities and stuff. Next one. This is a good one, right? Standard question, but you can ask a lot of things. This will again come in oscillations SHM. So we have two blocks and a spring, and this is in natural length. This is given speed u initially. This guy is at rest initially. Block M is given speed u. Someone kicked it. Find max along max compression. Find minimum speed. This can be asked as a matrix matching. Find the minimum speed of M and maximum speed of 2M. Advanced method, they'll ask you find the time period. To make it even better, they'll ask you find the coordinates of M and 2M. That we will see in oscillations that we can't do right now. This question can be made even better, but let's get these two right now. Two blocks of M and 2M placed on a smooth ground. Spring constant is K, natural length. You kicked one block with you, other block is at rest initially. So this will start oscillating, doing, it will start actually going like this thing. Why we use alpha and not theta? No, Moulika, see, the theta was actually in the frame of the platform, right? Whereas in the ground frame, in reality, it is not theta anymore because the velocity change. No? If you fired with u sine theta, u cos theta, you would have come out with theta. But your horizontal velocity changed, isn't it? So it won't be theta anymore. Fair enough? Think of like this. If you can fire in such a way, u cos theta minus v becomes 0. You know how it will look? It looks like it is going up, isn't it? There is a possibility. There is a possibility in such a way the ground guy will think it is just going straight up. I think that will happen when both the cannonball and the platform have same mass. Get this? How do we do this? I hope you remember the algo. The most important thing is to figure out how does the system look. Most people think, concepts. Physics mein, I told you this in foundation also. We have two types of visualization. One is a space visualization. In space visualization, right, you're visualizing stuff in 3-dimensional or 2-dimensional. How does this shape look? What happens, if it moves like this? If you remember those cube problems, when you open a cube, how does it look and all? If you actually think about it, all that integrations we did for a solid sphere, choose the element like a disk. This is all actually all space visualization. You're visualizing stuff in different shapes. The second type is time visualization. You're visualizing things in time. After this time, how does this look? After this time, how does this go? So these are the two important that you need to have: visualizing in space and visualizing in time. If you see in real life, most of the time we actually visualize in time, right? So just an example, it is like you broke let's say something in the house. You start visualizing. Mom will come in from the from somewhere. She will see this thing and she'll start scolding on me. You start visualizing everything, isn't it? There's a time visualization. Or when you're doing rangoli, right, and you're trying to design something, that's a space visualization. You're visualizing how will this shape look if I do like this. So this is not something new. Okay, maximum compression is a standard equation. I'm sure that you can get. Minimum speed is 0 in UI2. That is a guess, I guess. I don't know. Or you solved it. Let me show you. See, first thing, let's try to see what is happening with the motion here. Understanding is important because the same thing again we will repeat later on in collisions also. We'll repeat this again in alternating current. That is a chapter in electromagnetism. That's what I'm saying. In physics, right, whatever you learn, you will see similar things in multiple chapters, even though they look totally unrelated. So, mass m, 2m, this is speed u, this is at rest. Spring is in natural length, so there is no force. Next moment, what will happen? Because m is traveling faster than 2m, the m will get closer, and because of this, the spring will get compressed. Now, the spring is in a compressed state. Now, because the spring is compressed, what it will do? It will push them backward. It will push m backward. It will push 2m backward. Because of this, m ka speed will change and 2m ka speed will increase. So v1 ka speed is decreasing and v2 ka speed is increasing. Agreed? But v1 ka speed is still greater than v2. Suddenly speed can't change, no? Let's say v1 ka speed is 10 and v2 ka speed is 0. So it will become 10, 0, 9, 1, 7, 3. So it is decreasing, but still v1 is greater than v2. Then, as the speed is decreasing, at one point, v1 and v2, they both become equal. This is kx, and remember, spring is still pushing. So at this point, you get maximum compression. So if the guy behind you and you are traveling with the same speed, the distance between them cannot change anymore. So max compression occurs when both have same velocity. This you need to figure out. If you don't figure this out, you can't solve this question. Then both have same velocity. But remember, v1 is still decreasing and v2 is still increasing because the spring is pushing. So the question doesn't stop here. It goes further. Now the spring is still compressed, but it is opening up now. Because the 2m is going faster than m, the spring is opening up, but still it is compressed. So this is v1 and this is v2, and the spring is still pushing. So v1 is still decreasing and v2 is still increasing. And v2 has become greater than v1. Then the spring completely opens up, coming to the natural length. At this point, there's no spring force here. This speed is v1 and this speed is v2. But v2 is still greater than v1. Now, because of this, the 2m will start going ahead. The spring will start expanding or elongating. Now the spring starts elongation. This is v1 and this is v2. When a spring is elongated, it pulls back. V1 starts increasing and V2 starts decreasing. And remember, V2 is greater than V1. Now, if you observe something here, look at this, listen to this thing. V1 is decreasing. V1 is decreasing. V1 is decreasing. V1 is increasing. What does this mean? Isn't this minimum? Think of this again. V1 is decreasing here, state 2. V1 is decreasing, state 3. V1 is decreasing, state 4. State 5 or state 6, V1 is increasing again. Means what? If something is decreasing, and then increases, isn't this the minimum? Does that make sense? Similarly, look at V2, increasing, V2, increasing, V2 starts decreasing. If something is increasing, and then decreasing, isn't that maximum? Are you getting this? So that means this state here, V1 is minimum. And V2 is maximum. So when the spring comes back to the natural length, you get maximum speed and the minimum speed. Then M here, 2M here, V1 and V2. V1 becomes equal to V2, you get maximum elongation. Now in the exam, you need not do all this, but understanding is important. If you don't know what is happening, you won't get an idea. The spring is elongated, but it is closing in now. And here, V1 is still increasing and V2 is decreasing. Because the guy behind you is coming faster, it's elongated. But they're getting closer now. I mean, elongation is decreasing. And then they reach again here. You come back and this cycle will just keep going on. So this is state 1. This is state 2. State 3. State 4. State 5. State 6. State 7 and state 8. Please have a look at this once. This is what happens with the full motion. And this just keeps repeating forever. Later on, I'll ask you find the time for this full cycle. That we will do later on. But for now, we are interested in maximum compression. Means which state are you interested in? State 3. Maximum minimum speed, state 5. So state 1, state 3, and state 5. Conserve energy, conserve momentum. You'll get the answers. Try. You got a minute. 2 minutes. If it is in the exam, directly you will write state 1 and 3 and state 1 and 5. So you should know that. This is what I mean by analyze the question properly. You should know what is happening with the whole equation. If you just focus on solving, maybe you'll get the answer, but exam, if something changes, you won't understand what to do. Like, what do you mean by that exactly? I'll tell you, listen. When I say listen, you have to listen. You can always write, notes is always there. Same question, they will say, there's a spring, but it is not connected. And this is given speed u. What will change? What will change? यही होता है exam में. They're not going to ask you the same question. They'll just change something. And if you don't have an understanding, you will be just there thinking, what the hell? What changes? If I don't connect the spring, it is there, but it is not connected. It's just touching. Think. Let's get back here. See. Since u is going faster than this will occur. Agreed? This will occur. This also will occur. This also will occur. This also will occur. From here, it won't happen. Once the spring comes back to the natural length, the spring cannot pull, right? Because it is not connected. Both the blocks will separate after this. The question gets over here. Both the blocks will separate and they'll travel with V1 and V2 speed and gone. So these cases will not occur. Question stops at state 5. Is that making sense? हो गया ना? You need not do anything more, but you should know what to do. That is a catch. If there is no spring connected, that's what would happen. There हो गया ना question. You need not do anything great. But in the exam, you'll go and think like, अरे ऐसा question हमने किया नहीं. And that won't be possible. We won't be able to do every possible model that is there. But if you can start thinking, you'll be able to handle every kind of possible that is there. Get the answer, and I'll give you a direct result also. I'll give you one standard result. If I get a question like this, how to get the answer in one single formula, especially for mains and bits, it helps. Sometimes I talk in a contradicting way. I say you have to understand everything, then I also say you have to by heart the formula to get the answer fast. That is the essence of scoring more. Just because your subject is good doesn't mean you'll score well. This is the problem most of my friends had. Most of them were obsessed with subject, which is good, but itna obsession tha, they felt like, score aa jayega na. My subject is good, to score kyun nahi aayega? The problem ye ho gaya, when the question used to come, these people used to solve in each questions 5 to 6 minutes per question. And they will get the answers for all the questions, but they need 1.5 hours. But exam, you have only 1 hour for subject. That's the difference. If you're here only to learn subject, I wouldn't recommend by hearting formulas. I would say, like, come on, let's think. But let's be very clear. We are here not to learn the subject. We are here to crack the exam. In that, luckily, subject is coming a part of it, so you're learning the subject also. Is that right? It is always that way. Tomorrow, instead of physics, if they remove physics and they put psychology, won't you start studying psychology to get into IIT? Or will you say, no, I love physics. How can you keep psychology? I'll not study psychology. No, na. See, so it's not love of the subject. So let's be very clear. So once you start learning, once you start liking it, love, that affection will come towards the subject. That's a different thing. So that's what I'm saying. Don't say like, sir, मुझे पढ़ाई करने के लिए motivation नहीं आ रहा है. It is bullshit. You'll never be motivated to do anything in life. You have to do because it is important. That is how I messed up my first attempt. I used to think max I didn't like. I said, who cares whether I like it or not? If I don't score in max, I won't get into IIT. Simple story. This much I realized after messing up the first attempt. You guys don't do that mistake. So, state 1. This is PDU. That is at rest. This is a natural length. State 3. So this you should know. Maximum compression or maximum elongation occurs when both have same velocity. Let's take it as VC and VC. And this is X max compression. State 5. This is V1. And this is V2. And this is a natural length. So momentum will be M into U. Momentum will be, so momentum in state 1 is equal to momentum in state 3. Mu is equal to 3m Vc. We get Vc is equal to U by 3. Energy in state 1 is equal to energy in state 3. Half mu square is equal to half 3cmv square plus half kx max square. Take Vc and substitute here, you'll get x max. I'll leave the working to you. Similarly, if you take state 1 and state 5, mu is equal to mv1 plus 2mv2. This is equation 1. Energy conservation half mu square will be half mv1 square plus half 2mv2 square. Take v1 or v2 any one and substitute in the second equation. From here you get v1 and you get v2 from here. This would be your minimum speed. This would be your maximum speed. I'll leave the working to you. Please check the equations. What did you get answer? U root 3m by 2 क्या है? 2m by 3 क्या ना?
Yes.
2m by 3. Check it out. Clear? Now, if this question comes in the exam, that's a bit means somewhere solving this much and thinking so much, you'll not have time. So this is not like a big shortcut or something. So what we did,
Please for a moment.
clear? It's a clear? So let's say this is M1, this is M2, this is U1, this is U2, and this is K. You can directly write half K x max square is equal to half M1, M2 by M1 plus M2 V relative square. This is how to get, if you solve this problem normally, take M1, M2, U1, U2, solve karo, you'll get this answer actually. Now in books, now you'll find like this, they will write this thing as half mu V relative square. So this mu is nothing but M1, M2, M1 plus M2. They call this reduced mass. It is not a concept or anything. Since it looks like, dekho na, half kx square is equal to half mv square, it looks like that. So someone said this is looking like a mass, so they call it a reduced mass. You are combining both of them into single mass. So you will hear this word reduced mass in some books, so don't get scared. It is nothing. Someone got the formula in terms of half kx square is half mv square, so we call it reduced mass. It is the other way around. You named it. So example, let me show you one example. Let's say we have a block 2m here going with u. We have a block m here going with u. And they'll ask you maximum compression. So this is half k x max square will be half reduced mass is 2m into m by 3m into v relative square is u plus u whole square. That would be m by 3 4m u square is equal to half k x max square. And there you get the answer in one step. No need to do anything. Basically, conserved momentum, conserved energy, sub karne ke baad you got this general formula. Suppose if this was m, the 2m, the previous problem we did, here the reduced mass will be again m into 2m by m plus 2m, and here the relative velocity is u only because the other guy is 0. We end up by 2m by 3k u square. There, same answer. Check. So half mu v relative square. Quite a useful concept. We will see this again at multiple places.
So we take the relative velocity at the start, right?
Relative velocity at the start. That only, na, Arjun, socha na. Why will you take relative velocity in somewhere in the middle? That means you have to do the problem again till then.
Oh, okay.
You always check the initial data. Check it out. So remember this thing helps, saves you time in the exam. So the catch is this, in a paper like advanced, if there are like 20, 21 questions, there will be at least 13 to 14 questions or 15 questions you must have seen before. You must have seen before. They say paper doesn't repeat, but models do repeat. You must have seen something similar somewhere if you have practiced enough. At least 12 questions you must have seen somewhere. Now, remaining 8 questions, right? You need time to think and solve them because there's something unique. That means you have to first finish all these 12 questions fast. So even the standard model, if you're taking time, thinking and wasting everything, the paper, right, you will finish off like what? You will take 40, 45 minutes to finish all the 12, 13 questions. And then you're left with 15 minutes for that 7, 8 questions. But frankly speaking, if you do the 13, 14 questions properly also, but that will put you at a rank of around 6,000, 7,000. So after that, you want to push, you need to do those weird questions or tough questions. If you do all the basic moderate level questions properly without a mistake, that will still give you a good rank. And once you want to enter into that 1,000, 2,000, top 1,000 region, you need to start doing those weird questions also. But what is the point? You mess up the easy ones and moderate ones, and then you're running behind advanced, very tough ones. Most of you are having that problem. You guys are messing up easy and moderate ones in the pursuit of, doing the tough ones. So you need to have a balance. So don't run behind that. So any exam, first make sure you have done all easy, moderate, done right. Tough questions, if there are 7 tough questions out of 20, if you can do 3, 4 also, that will put you ahead. Put you ahead by a lot. Next one. Can't find time record. Anaka, Sochana, such a big blunder it is. That statement what you wrote. Tell me why it's such a big blunder. It's okay to, not knowing the right answer, but you should know when you're doing a blunder. Is speed constant? Is acceleration constant at least? And then what is the most important thing to be happy in life? Most people have a problem. They think they should know what to do in life. That is impossible. You'll never know what to do in life because it is difficult. You think this, but then you'll find something else. The best way to go ahead in life, right, is to figure out, making sure not to do any big blunders in life. Example, doing drugs. You definitely know that is bad. Alcohol, that is definitely bad. Making friends with wrong people, that is definitely bad. As long as you don't do blunders, remaining things will fall in place. Every day, sleeping only for 4 hours, that's bad. You're going to mess up. Every day watching phone for every day 3, 4 hours or 2 to 3 hours spending on phone, chatting, doing nonsense. That is bad. And that is the best part. It is bad. You just need to stop doing it. As simple as that. So if you can take care of your bad things, and if you don't do big blunders in life, the good things will take care of it. Problem ye hai, we keep so obsessed about the good things in life, we just ignore that small negative things. That way. So when 2 amateurs are playing in a tennis match, who wins? The one who does less mistakes. It's not about the skill. It is about one who does less mistakes. Again, I'm telling you, you are playing a different game. This is not school. School mein kaisa hai na? If teacher gives you 10 questions, teacher expects 10 out of 10 right. This game is not like that. If there are 10 questions, getting it, and if you can do 6 to 7 right properly, that is sufficient. Taken care of. You need not obsess about and if someone else gets 10 out of 10, you need not cry. That is not your problem. What other score is none of your business. Should just focus on yourself. Today I scored 150 out of 300. Tomorrow I should push to 170. Then I push 190. You're improving. End of the day, you're competing with that guy, but you're competing with yourself, so that guy is just in the way. Dekha, difference wo hai. That guy is in the way. But if you keep obsessing that guy is scoring 250, you will just keep seeing him and crying every day instead of studying. And trust me when I say this, I started with a rank of 150 to 160 out of 192 people. This was my rank in my first year, 11th standard. By the time advanced exam got over, I was second in the class. The final advanced rank, the first rank in the class, that guy got 181. Parthan, IIT Madras Computer Science. I am the second rank, 360. Getting it? So that is how you beat people. In my class, we had monsters, genius people, we say. Geniuses are easy to break, Ray. Getting it? Because most of them, right, they're so complacent, they don't know how to, take failure. Because life में सब अच्छे से हो गया ना.
So which coaching did you go to?
I used to study in Visakhapatnam long back, like 14, 15 years. I studied in Narayan at that time. Then I worked in Chaitanya. Then I worked in Fiji for a few months. I hated it. And then I went to Hyderabad, and then I went to Mumbai. I'm there in Mumbai from last 2013 से decade हो गया. Yeah, that time coaching was different. It was a people इतना competition नहीं था. When I wrote the exam, there were only 2.7 lakh people. But seats भी कम था. 3,000 seats only were there. Now you guys have 10 lakhs and 10,000 seats. I think the issue is almost the same. This is again a different type of question. So 2 blocks, M&M, 2MK, and a force F is applied. Now this is a question, where kind of it doesn't fit our algo actually. This thing goes slightly out of our algo. So that's what I was saying. There will be always some exceptions, but our algo covers most of it. If you observe here, there is an external force, right? You can't conserve momentum. You can't conserve energy. You can't do anything. There is only one way to solve this problem, meaning I couldn't find a second way. There's only one way that I could figure out how to solve this. So let's see, find max elongation. Think for a minute, then I'll show you how to do this. Think about all the things that I keep saying. The competition is always with you. I'm not training you for JEE and all. Because if you get trained properly, if you start thinking properly, right, you'll be very happy in life, and JEE is on the way. Seriously, JEE is on the way. Don't make it a big thing. It is there. It is a part. It's an important thing. It is just on the way. You just try to crack it and go ahead. Focus on your subject. Focus on yourself. You'll be more happy. You'll be more content. And when you're happy and content, you will start seeing things on which you can work, and then you'll improve. How do we do this? When I was in 11th, there used to be few people. After every exam, they used to cry. These people used to get 40, 50th rank, and they used to cry. Literally cry, huh? Pura sad face rakh ke 2 days, they used to walk around like ghosts. I used to see them and feel so happy about it. I really used to feel happy about it. You know why? This guy has time to sit and cry, but he will not do anything about it. Getting it? This guy has time to sit and cry, but he'll not do anything about it. He just wants to show off everyone like, देखो मैं कितना मेहनत किया फिर भी मेरा result नहीं आया. True, you worked hard, you didn't get result. Sitting and crying will not help. Feeling bad and depressed, then do something about it, na. After working so hard and finally I scored a rank, and people said I copied. After working hard, initially I told you, my physics first score was 0. I got 4 zeros in physics. First 4 tests. I'm not the only one. In the class, at least 70 to 100 people are getting zeros. It was a subjective paper that time. Objective nahi tha. They used to give 6 questions into 5 marks. If you write the solution properly, detailed steps and all, you get marks. And the questions used to be hard. Matlab objective nahi tha. I got 4 zeros. 5th exam, I scored 1.5. I was so happy. I think I was more happy than I got into IIT. Because life में कभी zeros तो आया नहीं. I was really depressed. Zeros तो कभी life में देखा नहीं मैंने. First time in my life, I started behaving like a sincere student. Used to sit in the second bench, used to wake up at 5 in the morning, used to study. I did everything that I thought a sincere student should do. Still 0, 0, 0. It was very frustrating. Kept on pushing, kept on pushing. What changed, right? I'll tell you what changed. In my class now, out of 192 people, there are only 5 students who can do physics properly. Okay, physics was a different monster for us. There are only 5 people who are scoring decent marks. Decent matlab wo bhi kaisa hai, 8 marks, 10 marks out of 30. That was a decent mark. Only 5 people. Most of them used to get zeros and ones and twos out of 192. So these 5 people, right, we used to call like 5 gods. 5 physics gods. ऐसा है. Because कुछ भी doubt है ना, sir was never available. Sir was never available. पढ़ा दिया, sir used to go off. No doubts, nothing. It is your headache, how to do. So in these 5 people, na, Sabir was one. He's my close friend. Dusra was, Om. Remaining 3 idiots, I don't even remember the names. Getting it? Because they never used to help anyone. They used to feel like, oh, किसी को बता देंगे तो उसको marks ज़्यादा आ जाएगा. I don't even remember them after this many years. I still remember these two guys. Sabir was very innocent. He used to help everyone, but very slow guy. Aram se used to explain. Om was very helpful, but busy guy. Too many people. There was actually a 6th god, but no one used to go to him. इसका name था Arjun. So used to be there. Silent god था वो. ठीक है? No one used to go to him. If you go to him, he'll help you, but no one used to go to him. So then one day what happened? Sabir was very busy. Om was very busy. I had a doubt in HC Verma kinematics tha. I was struggling a lot. कुछ भी नहीं आ रहा था. Then I got irritated. I said, चलो जाके उसको पूछते हैं. I went to him and said, यार, can you explain me this question? Then he said, okay, tell me what you did. This guy didn't tell me the answer. He said, what you did. I said, I did this. You know what I was doing? Bullshit. For example, this was the question, find maximum elongation. Okay, x चाहिए ना. So if I put f by m plus 2m by k, is the answer matching? You're getting what I was doing? I'm just trying to set up the variables. Okay, suppose ऐसा नहीं. F into m by m plus 2m into k. Is the answer matching? You're getting how stupid I was? I literally used to try to fit things and see कुछ match हो रहा है क्या करके. I was doing every stupid thing that is there. Why do you think I was getting zeros? Now you understood. Not solving. I was doing something else only. And this guy said, what the hell are you doing? I said, I had no words. Then he said, see. Then he opened the HCV and said, ye padho, read this full 2 pages and come. I went, I read, I came back. I said, what did you understand? You told me to read, right? What do you mean by understand? I read. Matlab, what do you mean by understand? Seriously, I was like clueless. Then he said, explain what did you read? Then I tried something, bits and pieces. Or yeah, literally, I understood for the first time why no one goes to him. He tortured me for 45 minutes. 45 minutes, literally. Then people, my friends were laughing. Everyone is laughing at me. Arun pakad gaya, Arun ka kaam ho gaya, Arun khatam karke. But this guy was actually teaching me. He was telling me, said, ऐसा क्यों किया? Why did you do like this? Why didn't you think like this? ये problem क्या था? 45 minutes, it was a torture. मतलब, for the first time in my head, the gears were connecting. I really understood what the hell I was supposed to do after reading a question. After 45 minutes, I got the answer on my own. This guy didn't even put the pen on the paper. Getting it? And then, what he said in the end? Arun, I taught you how to solve a problem. Right? Never come back to me again. I taught you something more valuable. Never come back to me again. He was a different monster altogether. That guy cracked in the first attempt. He went also. IIT Madras. वो अलग ही था. His favorite time is to sit on the terrace and watch the clouds. पता नहीं क्या करता था वो. He was weird. People never used to go to him. So for fun, we used to spread rumors that he actually talks to ghosts and all. वो अलग है, but just to make fun of him. But seriously, for the first time, right, that question, if he wanted to explain, he could have explained in 1 minute. I would have got the answer, I would have left. First time I learned how to. Then the game changed. I started actually struggling like that. I used to take time. I used to take my own time to solve, understand, figure out. I used to solve entire HCV properly. At least 70-80% I used to get on my own, putting a fight. 10-20% I used to ask everyone for doubts and all. Itna to ho jata tha. And after 6 months, I scored around 11 out of 30. And people said I copied. No one believed that I could get 11 marks. What do you do? Shut your mouth and continue working. What else can you do? I scored 24 out of 30 after 9 months. That was the first time anyone crossed 20. There was a seventh god. But in this pursuit of physics, abhi god ho gaya na, to head weight aa gaya bahut. Physics. I used to be obsessed with physics. You know how I score? I used to score out of 84. I used to score physics mein 75, 70 like this, 70 to 80 ka range mein. Chemistry I scored 30 out of 84 range. Maths I used to score in single digits. I was obsessed with physics because show off करना था सबको. मुझे physics आते सबको दिखाना है. सिर्फ show off करना था. Seriously, that was my downfall. I didn't balance my subjects. I neglected maths so much. By the time I understood and I tried to do something, I couldn't handle maths. First attempt I failed because of maths. It was my own show off ka nature. Because I'm good at physics, I thought I should do that. Arey, physics kitna karoge? At one point of time, I was scoring 80 out of 84 in physics. Mean one question wrong. And people used to look at me like this guy was a freak. Physics में 80 किसको आता है? And this used to give me a high. मतलब अच्छा लगता था. I used to feel like this is what I want everyone to look at me and think like, you know, oh God करके. Obsession था. If you had given me a chance to watch a movie, play a game, solve physics questions, I used to solve physics. इतना obsessed था. I used to be obsessed. That obsession messed up my marks. Big time marks. It was too late. My principal called up and scolded me. I think 4 or 5 months before the final exam. He said, "What the hell are you doing?" That's the first thing he said. I said, "What?" I said, "What?" I said, "I don't know. What the hell am I doing? What?" Physics ka score अच्छा था. Chemistry you're doing okay. Maths, what the hell are you doing करके? I understood यार. What the hell am I doing? Physics करके क्या करना है? IIT तो जाना है. Then I thought about it. Then I started doing chemistry. Chemistry was in dumps. I couldn't remember anything. It took me 3 months. Day, night, morning, evening, bloody chemistry, study everything. I'm very bad with names. So I used to play, games with my friends. Every day you ask me 3 questions from organic, inorganic, anything you want. For every question I can't answer, you can punch me. This was a game we used to play every day. I ask you 3, you ask me 3 questions from anywhere, anytime. 6 questions every day, 3 months, 6 into 90, that is almost like, 540 questions. 540 questions, full organic and inorganic. I completed entire chemistry in 3 months. Maths was too late. It was out of hands. Final exam में 42 आया था physics. Chemistry फिर भी 26 था. Maths I think was 11 out of 60, was gone. I was disqualified. Subject to paper that time, 2005, first attempt. Then I repeated. Because I know what my mistake. I said, "Chalo, abhi fight मारते." Every day I used to study 2 hours max, whether I like it or not. So understand when I keep saying something, I don't want you to be in such a bad situation. The kind of confidence I had in physics, I used to have negative of it in maths. I used to say, any question in physics, I'm ready. Any question in maths, I'm sure I won't get it. So let's get back to this thing. Think about what I said. So M to M, K, F. Now the problem with this question, right? If you see now, momentum you can't conserve, energy you can't conserve, acceleration is not constant, everything is messed up. F by 3 के बिना M आंसर आ गया क्या? Interestingly, maybe I think so. I don't remember the answer. Maybe it is right, I guess. Let's see how to do. There is one point here which is going with constant velocity. What is that?
Center of
Center of mass. So if you see here, the acceleration of center of mass is F by 3m, which is constant. And do you remember in work per energy, I told you something. If something is going with constant acceleration, what can you do? Solve with respect to that point. So we solve with respect to center of mass frame. So this is how it looks. So this is M. This is 2M. This is F. So your center of mass is, let the observer be on the center of mass, and he himself is going with F by 3M. Now, since center of mass is a non-inertial frame, you have to apply pseudo force. So the forces will be F. The pseudo force is mass of the body into acceleration in the opposite direction and acceleration in the opposite direction. So there are two pseudo forces. So from his frame, remember initially this is at rest, this is also at rest. Let M go x1 to left and let 2M go x2 to right. So 2M comes here, M comes here like this. This is x1, this is x2. So this guy was F. This is 2MA.
तो वो v equal to 0 आपने क्या लिखा है?
वो initial velocity 0 है ना center of mass frame में.
Okay.
Both are not moving. So what is the work done by the forces here? The work done by external plus work done by pseudo force is equal to change in kinetic energy plus change in spring potential energy. If you see here, the elongation in the spring is x1 plus x2. If that goes x1 and this goes x2, the spring is elongated by x1 plus x2. So here work done by forces will be F minus 2MA into x2, MA into x1. Kinetic energy is 0, spring potential energy is half K. Luckily here, na, every time when you do this, that x1 plus x2 one term gets cancelled. Substitute MA ka value here, this would be F by 3, x1 plus x2 is equal to half K x1 plus x2 whole square. So x1 plus x2 will be 2F by 3K. Check. That's your maximum elongation. If you substitute this thing A here, this will be F by 3 and this will be F by 3 common. So x1 plus x2 will come out common. One x1 plus x2 will cancel and there. This is a process to do this problem. I couldn't find a second way to do this. Check this out. Loss of motion, how did you do, Ray? The spring force Kx is changing at every instant, right, Aryan? So how did you do that from there? You'll get an acceleration which is variable, which is depending on x. Then you have to integrate. You can't use the three equations. Loss of motion doesn't work here. That's a problem because you have a variable acceleration which is depending on the elongation. Clear? Now the same problem, again, with variables. Again, if you take M1, M2, F1, F2, and then you try to solve, I'll give you the result. But again, see, when I say result, don't think like, we created out of thin air. If you solve the problem with M1, M2, V1, V2, that would have been the answer. So let's say you're pushing with F1 and you're pushing with F2 here. So for this, X max will be 2 times F2, M1 minus F1, M2 by K into M1 plus M2. This would be the answer for elongation. Be careful. I took F1, F2 in the same direction. Maybe I'll do one thing with. I'll put F1 this way and then this will become plus sign. So if you take our problem here, F and 2M, and this is F and this is K. So this problem will be X max. F2 is F, that is m. The second term would be 0 by k into m plus n. There you get the answer in one step. Check it out. This actually formula, na, even I don't remember this in the exam. This is a little weird, difficult to remember. Again, doesn't mean every formula you have to remember. This definitely remember. Quite useful because this thing comes in at least 3 to 4 chapters. If something comes in multiple chapters, it is worth remembering. But this formula, na, other than this problem, you'll not see anywhere. So it is like an exception. Remembering is like, if you can remember, great. For a person like me, I can't remember, so I just derive this again. So there is always a limit to how much you can remember. You need to see that. Is it worth remembering? If you think it is going to come in 3, 4, it is worth remembering. It's a very specific case, comes only for one question. It's a waste of time if you ask me. Because when you remember things, there's a chance you'll mess up one term and the whole thing goes for a wrong, and you won't have confidence to mark the answer in the exam. It is not worth. It is not worth that, saving that 1 minute. Clear with the process? Take a break. Come back by 7:05. Any doubt so far? Anything that you didn't understand? Please ask me.
Where did that reduced mass thing come from?
कुछ नहीं रे. When you solve this question na with M1, M2, देखो अभी यही question ना. What we will do here, we will say M1, M2, U1, U2. Then momentum will be what? M1, U1 plus M2, U2 will be M1 plus M2 V common. That will be momentum.
Yeah.
Then energy equation half M1 U1 square, half M2 U2 square, half M1 V1 square, half M2 V2 square, half X square. So if you just solve the problem regularly with all variables.
Acha, okay. So on simplifying it comes.
So here what I did was we took good numbers, right?
Right.
I took here M, 2M, U, we took. But if I take everything random, M1, M2, U1, U2, the answer would turn out to be this.
Okay.
So it is not some random shortcut. You solved a problem for general variables. It's like this one. Atwood mission, na? If I put M1, M2, there is a formula. But if I ask you for mass of M and 2M, that's a different, like I gave you the values.
Yeah, I got it. No, I was just asking because if you can apply it everywhere.
It does you, I'll tell you, it'll be useful, to apply. It will come a lot later.
Thank you, sir.
So can you go to the next page, please?
This
Yeah.
one?
Yes, yes.
Chalo, go take a break. You can keep your cams off. Those who have anything you want, you can ask, or else come back by 7:05.
Sir, can you go to the 26th question?
26th. Where is this, right? 26. Which part?
Yeah, next slide, sir. नहीं, इसके previous.
Okay.
So sir, इसमें B का जो common velocity है, ये V/2 नहीं होना चाहिए.
Why? There are 3 balls ना रे. V/3 होगा ना?
नहीं, मतलब B का भी आपने A और C का same velocity लिखा है B से.
Right.
But ये 2 tension से connected है, right?
So
shouldn't with the velocity be V/2?
अरे God, think ना, अगर ये 2V से जाएगा और ये V से जाएगा और V से जाएगा, so this point is going with 2V and this point is going with the string breaks ना. तो जब टेंशन मेथड यूज करना है, देखो टेंशन मेथड में TVC minus 2T VB ना. Understood?
Yes, understood.
Your logic, like 2 people are pulling. It think like this thing. If I'm catching and pulling with both the hands, both are going with V and V only, na? You won't travel with double the speed.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Aryan, you sent something. क्या था वो? क्या किया रे तूने? अरे, in that, tell me what is X? Aryan.
Yes, sir.
वो x क्या था? elongation at any instant ना?
Yeah.
हाँ, तेरा goof up वो है. f minus kx is 2ma, kx is equal to ma. Who told you both the blocks are same acceleration?
सर बट तभी तो मैक्सिमम एलोंगेशन होगा ना, मैक्सिमम एलोंगेशन और कंप्रेशन वाला।
हाँ,
तो आपने जो मतलब फिफ्थ वाला जो स्टेज बताया था पहले वाले प्रॉब्लम में, तो
okay.
उसमें दोनों का वेलोसिटी सेम होगा तभी इधर मैक्सिमम कंप्रेशन या मैक्सिमम एक्सपेंड मतलब इलोंगेशन होगा, तो मैंने वो
No,
यूज
see, when
किया।
there is a maximum elongation or maximum compression, right? The velocity should be same.
या
Velocity should be same. There's no guarantee acceleration will be same.
ओ ओके।
ना, that way.
हाँ हाँ, गॉट इट।
ठीक है? Yeah. Sure, let's start off. Next thing. So that is a bit about collisions, momentum. Next part is collisions. So collision is a process in which momentum and energy are transferred in a very short time. So when you define collision, right, it is like in any event, if energy and momentum are transferred. See, if you're taking a block and pushing it, gently you're pushing it. So you're giving energy and you're giving momentum, but you're giving it over a long period of time. So we define collision as something which happens like instantaneously in a small time interval. So that is one, it happens instantaneously, and the forces involved during collision. There is one problem. Did we do that? There is one more problem we need to do. There is one more problem. Let's do this thing and then we'll go to collisions. We have a wedge here of mass 2m. We have a block here of mass m and speed u. All surfaces are smooth. This topmost point is A. And this height is h. So, thing is, find u minimum. So that the block reaches point A. So A is the highest point. So with what minimum speed should you hit it so that it just reaches the topmost point? Second one, suppose instead of u minimum, if you give u is equal to 2 times u minimum, if u is 2 times u minimum, right, then find the maximum height reached by the block. And describe the motion of the block. Let's get this. Okay, get the second one. U by 2. What is U by 2? You have to find U. What are you guys finding? The question is find U. Okay. You're right, Aditya. Palaksh. Others try. Get the minimum speed. Let's see. The first part. So in the first part, you want to find new minimum. You just need to reach, right, Aryan? You just need to reach the topmost point there. Now understand here, there are two velocities here. Vy, vertical component is 0. There's a horizontal component Vx, and this is also Vx. Now, if you see, both of them will have same horizontal velocity here. Reason? Since they're in contact, velocity along the normal should be same. Rigid body constraint. Since you said for minimum velocity, Vy has to be 0. You just stop there at a point A. So conservation of horizontal momentum. So m into u is equal to m into Vx plus 2m into Vx. So Vx is equal to u by 3. Conservation of energy. Half mu square is equal to half mvx square plus half 2 mvx square, and the vertical component is 0. So, and the height is mgh. Substitute here. half mu square 3/2 mvx square is u square by 9 plus mgh. This would be u will be root 3gh. This is your minimum speed. If you give this much, you'll just reach the top and stop. Check it out. Now, if you give double the speed, then what happens? No, the second part thing. Now you are giving u is equal to 2 times u minimum. So you get 2 into root 3gh. So when you reach the topmost point here, now the velocity won't be 0, because if you give minimum, you just reach the top. Now you also go with Vx and also with Vx. The horizontal velocity will still be same, but now there's an extra vertical component now. Conservation of horizontal momentum. Mu is equal to 3m Vx. Conservation of energy, half m u square. Now that would be 12gh. Half m Vx square plus Vy square. Now that thing has two velocities there, plus the potential energy mgh. It has gone to a height h. Plus half 2m Vx square. This would be 6 mgh. 3/2 m Vx square, and Vx is u by 3. That is 4/9 3gh. Threes are, twos are, and 3 will cancel. That is 2, 3. Vy square will be root over 6gh. Now see, once you got this velocity, see what happens. You have a Vy and you also have Vx. So what will happen? This will actually fly like a projectile, isn't it? Because the block has two components. There's a vertical component and the horizontal component. This thing is actually flying like a projectile. So during a projectile motion, this will be another h max, which is Vy square by 2g, which is 6gh by 2g, which is 3h. That means this thing will go a total height of h from the ground level, and from there it will fly another 3h ka height. And the best part about this thing, since the block and the wedge have same velocity, when the block lands, what will happen? The wedge will be right below there to catch it, right? Since the wedge and the block both have same horizontal velocity, the block will come and land on the wedge again. That is the meaning of describe the motion. So it will come down with Vy and it will continue to go with Vx, and the block will slide and go outside.
So can you explain this part again where it becomes acts like a projectile?
Come again.
So can you explain this wala part again, like the projectile motion particle?
It has Vy and Vx now, so isn't it a projectile if you have two components?
Huh.
So it flies in a projectile, and then since the block and the wedge both have same horizontal velocity, what will happen? They'll have same horizontal distance traveled.
Yeah.
So when the block is about to land, the wedge will be there to catch it.
Yeah.
It will come back to A again. Since block and wedge have same horizontal velocity,
Understood.
yeah, so the block lands on the wedge again. Check this out. Because Palaksh, देखो ना, in this case I said find U minimum so that you just reach A. So if you just given root 3gh, you will just reach A and stop. But if you give you more than this, what will happen? It won't stop, right?
Yes, sir.
If you're so it will have a Vy component. Please check this out, everyone.
So,
Hmm.
so in the first case, instead of this mass, if there is a skateboarder over there, will we do it in a similar way?
Same thing. Now, what difference does it make, right? Block, ball, skateboard, it is all same thing.
How?
Because you're taking the ground to be smooth, so there's no rolling concept here.
Oh,
All clear with this? Next one. Yeah, that's one question. Next thing. Back to collisions. So this is how we define collision. Collision is a process in which momentum and energy are transferred in a very short time. So and the forces involved during collision are very large. And act for a short time. So this type of forces are called impulsive forces. Getting it? So whenever any force that is goes to a very large value and becomes zero in a short time, if you try to plot them on a graph, force versus time graph, this is how it would look. Just peaks, comes down. So if you look at this time interval here, delta t, this is very small, tends to 0. So here, if you take integral f dt, this is nothing but change in momentum. So area under ft graph gives you change in momentum. This is also called as impulse. So if you see here, F is very large. You have a large force. Dt is very small, small time. So when you multiply this, you get a finite value. So if someone asks you what is impulse, impulse is simply change in momentum. So the symbol is J. Which is change in linear momentum. Now here, just one thing, generally people get confused here that I have seen. People think impulse can be created only by impulsive forces. The wordings are a little weird, but you need to understand impulse is simply change in linear momentum. So when someone says impulse, just think of change in momentum. So impulse can be created by any force. There's nothing like, compulsory. This condition is not there. Only impulsive forces can create. What are this? What are exactly impulsive and non-impulsive? I'll show you in the next page. Impulse can be created by impulsive and non-impulsive forces. So what are non-impulsive forces? These are like, keep it simple. Again, see what is non-impulsive. These are not large forces. They don't go to big value and come back to zero. For example, gravity is non-impulsive. It doesn't act for a small time. Spring forces are not impulsive, etc. Impulsive forces are these are forces during collision. If something is colliding, that force involved is large.
So friction is also non-impulsive, no?
Nah, we'll see. There's no guarantee. Clear? Now, examples. So let's say we have a bullet here traveling with speed u. The ground is rough. And there is a collision between them. So if you try to draw the FBD during collision, look at the forces. Normal reaction, normal reaction. You have your own weight mg, normal reaction on the ground, and the friction. Now, if you look at here, mg, if you look at n ground, equal to mg. And friction is less than equal to mu n ground. Therefore, mg is non-impulsive because mg will not change suddenly. And mg is equal to ng. So n ground is also impulsive and f is less than ng. So friction is also non-impulsive. Whereas that n during collision, n is impulsive. So the main idea is anything that involves during collision is impulsive. We need to see whether that affects the other forces or not. So this is one example. Let me show the second one. This will make things clear. Same question. But let's say the bullet is coming at an angle and hitting this way. Now see what happens. Normal reaction. Normal reaction. The ground becomes impulsive suddenly. Friction becomes impulsive. Mg is still non-impulsive.
So what did you say friction was in this case?
I'll show you. So if you look at n ground here, now n ground becomes mg plus n cos theta. Now you tell me, if you add a very large force to a very small force, what do you get? Large force, isn't it? Since this is impulsive, n ground becomes impulsive. Is that making sense? So therefore, in this scenario, n ground is impulsive and friction is equal to mu ng. So friction also becomes impulsive. So it all depends on the situation whether friction and normal reaction are impulsive or not. Mg is always non-impulsive. Check. Clear? Any doubts on this? Next thing, I'll give you one more. Now you tell me whether which is impulsive, which is non-impulsive. So we have pendulum here and we have a bullet here. We have bullet like this. In which case tension is impulsive?
Second case.
Hmm.
The first.
First one, second one. Now see, if you try to draw the forces here, you'll understand. This is a normal reaction. This is a normal reaction. That is impulsive. Mg is vertical. Tension is vertical. And T is mg here. So T is non-impulsive here. So here, this is mg. This is n. This is theta. And this is tension. So suddenly here T becomes mg, which is non-impulsive, plus n cos theta. So that's the problem there. So if you are a result of an impulsive force, you also become an impulsive. So here T is impulsive. I hope everyone is getting an idea like how something can be impulsive and non-impulsive. Now, some important things here. If you have impulse forces in a direction, momentum cannot be conserved. If impulsive forces are present. If non-impulsive forces are present, technically speaking, even then you can't conserve. But because they're so small, we can neglect them. Because they're like small forces acting for a very small time. We can neglect them and conserve just before and just after collision. Keep that in mind. I'll show you what that means. For example, let's say ball is coming like this, and let's say another ball is going like this. Gravity is there. So technically speaking, here gravity is an external force. But during collision, the forces generated are so large. You can neglect that. So compared to forces generated in the collision, this is very small. So approximately you can conserve. Compared to forces generated during collision. They're small. So we can neglect. Yeah. Let's see a simple question. So when you say impulse, now don't questions can come very weird and difficult on this. But when they say impulse, what they're simply saying is change in momentum. For example, if you take a simple case like this, let's say block M is there, friction is there, rough. Someone gave an impulse J. This is how they'll say. An impulse J is given to the block. So just think of like, you're just hitting your carom board ka striker. You're just hitting it. So that's like an impulse. Impulse J is given to the block. So just imagine like, when you say impulse, just imagine hitting the striker in carom board. So you're just suddenly it is at rest, suddenly it starts moving. Or kicking a football, anything. Hitting a ball or carom board ka striker, billiard balls, anything. So simply impulse meaning kicking. Just keep that in mind. Find the distance it travels before it stops. Let's get this. J by 2. See now, first thing, impulse. You're giving impulse. Impulse meaning it's a something you're just hitting it. So after hitting it, what will happen? Let the velocity be v. Or let the final velocity be v. So impulse j is nothing but change in momentum. Final momentum is m into v minus 0. बस इतना ही था और कुछ नहीं है. They gave you velocity indirectly. So once the block is given velocity, friction will be backward m max, which is equal to mu mg. This will be acceleration. So a is equal to mu g. This is traveling with v, and finally it will stop somewhere here. Use the formula v square minus u square is equal to 2as. This will be 0 square minus v square is 2 into minus mu g into s. S is equal to v square by 2 mu g, where v is nothing but j by m. So j by 2 m square mu g. Clear? That's what I'm saying. When I say impulse, don't panic. Just think of it like change in momentum. Previous page here. Clear? Great. Let's see one more. We have a pulley here. We have a block here, mass m. We have a pan here of mass m. So we have a particle of mass m traveling with speed u, hits the pan and gets stuck. Gravity is there. Find final speeds. Find the impulse due to tension. So when you hear the word impulse due to a force, meaning the change in momentum due to that force. Let's get this. Now here, just a little thing here, you can't conserve momentum. Because when this collision is happening here, the tension forces here, the strings will suddenly become tight. These are non-impulsive. So technically you can't conserve momentum in this problem, but mathematically there's a way to do this. Have a look at this. Take a minute to think about it, I'll show you. Just give it a try. Get some water and come. Okay. U by M plus M, right? Now see. So technically, you can't conserve momentum here. So this is one thing. You can be mathematically correct, but conceptually wrong. If you remember, we did something like that in NLM, net pulling force method. Do you remember? We took force along the string. So we can do something similar here. So the idea here is, one thing I know, all will have same speed, but directions are different. So what if I can make this like this? Going and hitting here, isn't it? Now, if you look at it, tension, tension. Basically, whatever force that is acting on this plank, that is only acting on the block, and that is pulling up. So if I treat this like a system, so basically you're choosing forces along the string. So after sticking here, this is M. This will go with common velocity. This will go with common velocity. You can conserve momentum now. Now see, again, when you say conserving momentum, you're conserving momentum along the string. So M into U is equal to M plus M plus M into VC. Mathematically, this is right. This is the same equations you get if you try to normally solve with impulse and all. Now, the forces acting on this will be the tension here. So force integral T dt, that will give the change in momentum of Ohm on the block, or change in momentum of the block. Or you can also write it as change in momentum of block plus the bullet, pan plus bullet. You can take any one of them. Block is easy. So basically, this is the impulse due to tension. So this will be M into VC. MU by
So
2
why
M
did you
plus M.
take it as a horizontal system again?
Because whatever force acts here, that is only transmitting here, na, indirectly.
Hmm.
So if I just make it straight, what difference does it make for the blocks?
The tension is impulsive, na? Matlab,
Yeah. So whatever you're taking from here, what are you doing? That you are giving to this block only, na?
अच्छा वो ठीक है but आपने बीच में लिखा था वहाँ पे tension is non-impulsive. So
That's why I said, na, this is conceptually wrong.
अच्छा हाँ okay.
Mathematically, it's right. Conceptually, it is wrong. If you write like this in a subjective paper, they'll cut it off.
Okay.
Luckily, our exam is objective, so it works. Getting it? So mathematically, if you see the equations will be same, na? Whatever this tension is there, the change in momentum due to this tension will be this. Change in momentum of pan plus this. The same tension is acting here, so change in momentum of this will be change in tension, momentum of this block. So indirectly, both the magnitude should be equal. Change in momentum should be equal to change in momentum of that. But problem ye tha, here the momentum is changing in the vertical direction. Here it is changing in the upward direction. So it will be actually j cap and minus j cap. But the moment I make it like a straight line, the question becomes in a line, right? It's more easy to see mathematically. That's it. And when I say impulse due to tension, the tension is changing the momentum of the block, or tension is changing the momentum of the pan plus bullet. So you can take the change in momentum of any one of them. That is the meaning of tension, impulse due to tension. Check it out. Clear? Next thing. This would be a good question. So this I'll give you as a homework. You try this. Next class we'll be discussing it. Homework question, but also a good one. The first part is easy. So we have a block here. we have a bullet here hitting at an angle theta. Mass m, traveling with speed u. The ground is smooth. Same thing, same bullet, mass m, but this time the ground is rough. Friction is mu. Okay. In both the cases, assume the block does not lose contact with the ground, meaning the block will slide horizontally only. Assume block does not lose contact with the ground. That is one. Second thing, so find the velocity. So after hitting the block, the bullet gets embedded. Embedded when it will get stuck inside. Find the velocity of the block after collision. The second part is quite good actually. Okay, so try this thing. So next class unit we'll discuss this. And before going, right, how is your schedule, right? This Sunday, can we have a class in the evening? You guys have something in the evening? What do you have? Call it Pesca, some exam?
No, sir, I'm saying we
Class.
can keep, but at least we have no problem.
Anyone, what do you have? Meaning, everyone is free, yeah? Sunday, what time you have? This Sunday, yeah. Like I told you, na, December end mein, right? We are missing out one class. I'm not there, 29th ko. I thought I'll cover it up before only going.
So can you keep it in the morning?
I think
Yes, the
Anika is
morning will
back.
be better.
Anika, you have full day class?
No, so morning is preferable.
No, that is then I'm asking. Anika is having an issue. Anika, you're having full day class from morning?
No, sir, I'm actually going out Sunday.
How about Saturday night, 9 o'clock?
No, sir, we have
Tomorrow.
pace.
Yeah, Saturday night, 9 o'clock. Right?
अरे सर बट पेस के बाद तक जाता हूँ.
आज तो पेस के बाद ही आए हैं ना गॉर्डन.
Tomorrow Saturday was
नहीं, आज
holiday.
पेस नहीं.
People have class, same tuition. ठीक है. Yeah, stuck
Sir,
with
are
one
you
thought.
talking about tomorrow or the next Saturday?
This Saturday, tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Next week, na, tomorrow is anyway, others are not. Saturday, anyway, people are not available in the evening. Sunday is preferable. So this Sunday is gone. Can we have on 24th ka Sunday? Will that work for everyone?
Yeah.
Sir, I'm
So
going,
this,
Sir, I'm going out.
I'm going out.
everyone is
So
going
otherwise
out.
keep on Sunday. Whoever comes, then let them watch the record.
No, that's not fair.
वही problem है ना.
That is this Sunday.
Yeah, this.
ठीक है, चलो देखते हैं. Then I'll plan it out later on that. Not a problem. It is my mistake anyway. I just wanted to cover it up और कुछ नहीं है. ठीक है, so do this and come. So we'll see, maybe next week or maybe that next week or maybe after the new year we'll plan one Sunday. ठीक है, I inform you anyway beforehand. I think 2 days before ना you guys must have made plans also. It's not right to make you again